Hi there, this is the 8th day of my bike tour towards Nordkapp and we only got 3 days left. So join me today when I cycle towards the town of Alta, and after that I make it to the highland where I'll probably find a nice wild camping spot for the night. I started the day by giving my bike a little bit of love after the long and rainy day. The chain was in desperate need of some attention. The day started out with some gorgeous weather in the morning and it got really hot right away. Even though I was now riding on the main E6 highway with pretty minimal shoulder, the traffic situation was actually quite okay. I never really felt scared of the traffic surrounding me. The few cars that passed me were considerate and maintained a decent distance between themselves and I. I spoke to the owner of the campground and he mentioned that the recent heat wave they had been experiencing in the area had led to a pretty unusual situation. As it turned out, the local reindeer got fed up by the heat and had started taking shelter from the sun inside of the tunnels. I also saw a lot of road signs warning drivers of this situation. So I have to go through this tunnel behind me here now, and it's about 3.5 kilometers long, so whew, it looks like it's going upwards, and that's even worse. So I gotta put my blinkers on and maybe put a jacket on as well. It's gonna be a bit chilly in there, I think. Sheet a bit and go on the car road because this is a lot quicker. You can hear the cars pretty far away, so and you see the lights. Coming out of the second tunnel, I noticed a couple of dark clouds ahead of me right away, and I realized that it would only be a matter of minutes before the rain would be upon me. And upon entering the third tunnel, I stopped to put on my rain gear so that I would be prepared for the rain that I knew would hit me when I got out of the tunnel on the other side. The rain hit me so hard that I accidentally took a wrong turn and ended up taking the highway bridge over the fjord, which I wasn't actually allowed to do. But at the time I realized this, it was too late to turn back. After the impressive bridge, a couple of shorter tunnels and plenty of honking cars that didn't appreciate me riding on the road, I once again joined up with my planned route. The rain didn't last very long though, and just as it cleared up I found myself enjoying a very nice bike path leading me towards the city of Alta. For most of this trip I used a Norwegian weather app called yr.no to predict the weather. It has a superb function that gives you a real-time map of where the rain clouds are, and how it's gonna be in the next hour. This really helped me to figure out if it was worth waiting out the rain or hitting the road again. So now I reached Alta and I gotta stock up on some food now, because when I finally leave Alta, there isn't a supermarket in the next 150 kilometers or so. So I really need to plan ahead now for lunch, dinner tonight and lunch tomorrow as well. So even though it's sunny outside right now, it's pouring down rain. So I'm making the most out of the time and taking a break here at a bus stop. And also making some food while I wait for the rain to die out. According to the weather forecast, it's about to pass in half an hour, so I might as well eat something in the meanwhile. As I left Alta, I was accompanied by a very impressive rainbow pointing me towards the next chapter of my journey, the Sennalandet Highlands. A task that would occupy me for the next hour or two. At the start of the climb, I also saw the first sign with a distance left to the North Cape. This gave me an extra boost and I could feel that I was getting closer and closer to the finish line. And now began the very long, grueling task of climbing the 400 meters to reach the plateau. Getting up onto the plateau, you could definitely see the landscape change. The few trees that were able to grow up here were very thin, narrow and short. It had been a very long day, but the weather was actually kind of nice for being in this region, so I figured I could continue a little while longer. In the late evening I heard someone shouting my name from behind. It was Philip, a fellow bike tourer from Germany who had bumped into a couple of times during the last couple of days. So we joined forces, taking turns battling the wind for the final stretch of the day. We finally found a nice rest stop just before a major thunderstorm hit the area. What a crazy day this turned out to be. I'm now camped out just by this little rest stop that we found at the end of the evening, and we had to take shelter from the rain, since there was a big storm coming in with lightning and thunder and everything. So made a really long day today. I think I made 135 kilometers, which wasn't the plan in the beginning. I wanted to get up on the highland here, but once I got here I realized that there were basically no spots to pitch your tent because it's so flat and everything is just open space, no trees or anything. So I don't think my tent would have lasted long up there. So now I've finally gone down a bit and there's more hills and trees covering here, so the wind won't be a problem tonight. I met this guy called Philip along the way, and I've met him for the last 3 days now. And we also spent last night at the same campground sitting and talking there. So he caught up to me up on the plateau here when I was setting up one of my shots, and we ended up cycling together for the last hour or so and found this place. And that's one of the things I really like about this trip, is that you meet sort of the same people along the way every day. People just seem to pass by each other depending on how fast they are, and like me, stopping to take photos and videos all the time. So there are a bunch of us that probably left Tromsø about the same time and probably gonna end up in Nordkapp the same day here in a couple of days time. And it's really nice to exchange your experiences from this trip and other trips as well. And I also talked to the owner back at the campground I spent last night in, and he told me that this was probably the warmest summer here in Arctic Norway yet. I've been noticing that there are hardly any snow on the hills over here, and I had expected there to be a lot of snow. Well, anyway, a big day today, and I only got 2 days left now until I'm at the North Cape. I think I have around 170 kilometers left to go, so that should be pretty doable in those 2 days. So join me next time when my adventure towards the North Cape continues, and until then, have a good one.